may have taken until the 63rd episode of decluttering my parents' entire house, but we have finally reached garage sale weekend. And when I asked, y'all answered, so buckle up for another really long video. Because you know I'm not about to leave out a single detail of our mega garage sale weekend.
It's currently 4:05 and the garage sale starts at 7, so we have until then to get everything set up. We still have to make road signs, regular signs, set up my daughter's drink stand, order that and put clothes on them, and set up all our fans. Let's go see if we can do
You know, in hindsight, I definitely should have made these signs way before the morning of the garage sale. But it was kind of hard to do because I actually wasn't 100% sure what I was going to need. And even after everything and spending like over an hour making these signs, there were still things that I forgot about. So I know that there were people that were questioning why we sorted every single thing, because a lot of times it seemed like we were going in circles. But this was always my end goal, was to have organized tables. We even had a whole table dedicated to filling a bag for $1. When we started planning this garage sale, I knew that I wanted it to stand out as much as possible, because the more you can stand out, the more likely you are to get visitors and people who stay to shop. And because our end goal was to get rid of as much stuff as humanly possible, we spent a lot of time on the aesthetics and a lot of time on organizing. Because I just kept thinking to myself, if we're this overwhelmed by all the stuff, how much more are strangers going to be trying to go through things? And I wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to look for things they knew they would want. So here's a couple of the things that we did to make our garage sale stand out. Number one is we had tablecloths on every single table. And while it might seem like a minor detail, I think it actually made a really big difference, because it made it feel more like a flea market and less like a garage sale. Number two is because our main goal was to get rid of stuff, we priced everything at $1. And when I say everything, I mean absolutely everything. A couple of the things that we sold that were definitely worth well over $1. A wooden dollhouse already assembled. A brand new kids hanging play tent with working lights. A brand new Pampered Chef grill still in the box. One of those kids tables with chairs that fold up. A barely used dog crate and fence. Multiple board games. And we made sure to include pictures of these things in our listing when we said that everything was $1. We actually had a lot of people show up that were genuinely shocked that everything was actually for $1. And even for garage sales, I think it's not something that's very common, because a lot of times people are trying to make money, and while we're trying to make money, we're also trying to just get rid of things. So the risk of selling everything for $1 to see if we could get people to stay was worth it. And I think it helped because there are a lot of people that I think probably would have just left. Because everything was $1, they stuck around and they bought a lot of stuff. And anything that wasn't worth $1 in the first place went on that table with stuff to fill a bag for $1. Third thing that we did to make sure our garage sale really stood out was we had signs everywhere. We had every single thing very clearly labeled with bright neon signs. When there's this much stuff to look through, people can get overwhelmed really quickly. So I made sure that there was no room for question and everything was really obvious. We got a lot of compliments on our signs actually, and our organization. And while it may have taken hours of my life, I think it was worth it in the end. I had really hoped to have the signs kind of taped to the front of the tables. But guess what, guys? I forgot the dew exists. And because we set the tables up the night before, the dew kept anything from sticking to it. The fourth thing that we did to make sure that our garage sale stood out is we posted about it. I know it's something that's really common, but I think some people don't do it. It was absolutely worth it. So thank you to everybody who recommended that.
They're so cute.
Do you want a bag? The fifth thing that we did, and I don't know if this is very common or not, but we had bags for people. And I was kind of bagging things up like they were shopping at a store. I think it just made it feel a little bit nicer overall. And it gave people the option to buy more stuff because there was a way to actually carry it. And we did eventually put bins out for people, just to give them a place to set their things while they kept looking. If you've been keeping up, then you know that I had shopping baskets for people. But I'm actually really excited about the fact that people were grabbing so much that it wouldn't fit in those shopping baskets. So while it was a cute idea and a couple people did use them, I think honestly it was just easier for people to put things on the table or in the bins that I had laid out.
That one lady got 25 things. So somebody might not buy something, but then it's $1 and they're like, oh.
Just 1 hour into the sale, we had already made $79, which is more than $1 a minute. Sixth thing that I did to make us kind of stand out is I had a very obvious checkout station. And let me tell you, I was set up. I had a tent to keep me in the shade and I had fans blowing on me. But that had more so to do with the fact that I'm 8 months pregnant. The seventh thing is that we had a drink station.
This is melting. It's gonna blow away in the sun.
I really wanted to get my daughter involved, but we did not have time to make lemonade. We sold bottled lemonade, Coke, Dr. Pepper, water, and popsicles for kids.
6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, and the bag makes 13.
Oh, and my husband didn't actually put the signs out till 8.
Do you like to buy drinks? Yay! Okay, some more.
So that means everybody that showed up before then was there from the online post. The eighth thing is kind of funny, but we put signs out literally everywhere we possibly could. I had multiple people come up to me and tell me they had never in their life seen so many garage sale signs. Something I wasn't really expecting to happen is that people still haggled at the dollar garage sale.
$1 too. You want both the lamps?
To be honest, I was more than willing to work with people. I didn't even care at this point.
15, sure.
With lights and everything.
You do 20. You want the bin too?
Sure, 15.
Sure.
Did try to get her to go up to 20 though, because it was a lot of stuff.
I don't even care at this point. Yeah, it's like almost all
I
gone.
just sold 7 plastic totes for $5.
And yes, those totes went to the same person. Not only did people haggle for things, but they also stole things. Which I find funny for a $1 sale.
For $1.
10 books for $1? Yeah. Try 5.
This was kind of towards the end of the first day. At this point, we started to mark things down that weren't selling well, which ended up being a really good idea because there were things that wouldn't have sold otherwise. At this point, I started to overheat.
Humidity. It's just so hot.
And there we have the classic Midwestern phrase.
Howdy, my friend.
My husband took over for a little bit so I could go inside because my feet were swelling.
Want a paper bag?
And he immediately went into full customer service mode. I think it was really funny.
Have a wonderful day.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, at one point something really funny happened. One of our neighbors brought over a book and actually put it up on our shelf for us to sell. So in the middle of getting rid of things, we actually gained something too. But I'm not sure if it sold or
Howdy,
not.
man.
I honestly just wasn't paying that much attention. Oh, also, I can't even count the amount of times that my tripod got knocked over by someone. Anyway, here's kind of a look at all the big stuff that we sold for $1. At the end of the first day, most of that stuff was gone except for the chairs. And this is what the garage sale looked like as a whole. We had 3 rows of tables set up. I made sure to put the tables in the grass and not actually on the driveway because it gave us the most space possible and people were able to look without being cramped. Also, at the end of the first day, almost all of the glassware was gone. The holiday stuff didn't really do very well, which I was kind of expecting because I honestly think that that would sell better closer to Christmas. Anyway, before we move on to day 2, I really wanted to show you guys the before and afters of day 1. when you see the end, you can fully appreciate how much stuff was gone. We did take your advice and we hung up some of the more expensive clothes. Anyway, at the end of day 1, we were able to fit most of the tables with the stuff still on them in the garage. This made setting up day 2 1,000 times easier than day 1. Literally all we had to do was drag everything out of the garage, but most of it was already pre-sorted, and we left the signs on the table, so they were all labeled. That meant that instead of waking up at 4 a.m., I got to start at 6:20. Both days we hosted the garage sale, we did 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., which I'm not gonna lie is quite a long time for a pregnant woman to be out in the summer. So I'm incredibly grateful to my husband and mom for switching out with me all day. Oh, and you guys warned me about people showing up early. We definitely had that happen, but I'm actually kind of shocked that it was only like 20 minutes early both days. And it had to be from our online posting because my husband didn't put the signs up until after 8 a.m. both days. Honestly, the only reason that we did that was because my husband was helping set up, and we still had a lot of stuff to get done by 8 a.m. If I had known how long the signs were going to take on the first day, I probably would have started earlier. Anyway, watching this all come together was actually really satisfying. And of course, I need to give a massive shout out to my family because at the end of day 1, they let me go inside and rest. Every one of them came outside to help clean up while I just sat on the couch with my girls. By the end of day 1, I was completely wiped out. I honestly have no idea how I was able to actually wake up this morning. My pregnancy symptoms actually kept me awake almost the entire night. And I don't know if this is TMI or not, but if you have any tips for acid reflux, please let me know. I'm trying to go as natural as possible, and I really don't want to take Tums. So if you can think of anything that I could eat or drink, that would be really helpful. Anyway, let's get back on topic to the garage sale because that's what we're really here to talk about. 7 a.m. I was already
My hands are already starting to get puffy.
7 a.m. a lot of people were showing up.
Would you take 50 cents?
Something that actually did catch me quite off guard was people were trying to haggle the drink prices too.
Let's go to my daughter. Is that okay? $1.50 maybe. I'll give her the $1.50 for this.
And even though I was more than willing to bring the price down on other things, my sweet little Kirby obsessed 5-year-old was saving up for Kirby Star Allies. So I did ask the people pay the full price for the drinks at least.
They're $1 each.
I just had to show you guys that the Lisa Frank folders did sell.
I bought any of it yesterday.
Oh, and my mom sold the entire lot of Little People stuff for $15. By day 2, she was just letting things go like crazy, and so was
41. Hasn't even put the signs out yet.
By 7:40, we had already made $41, and my husband hadn't even put the signs out yet. Once again, the traffic was entirely from our online post. At this point, I started making signs to mark things down because after a full day of having a garage sale, we kind of knew what was and wasn't going to sell well. And let me just tell you guys, it worked so well. I cannot wait to tell you guys how much we actually made in the end. So go ahead and place your guesses now because we only have a minute and a half left. Around 9 a.m., this really sweet lady came, and she won the record for the most stuff bought at one time.
I'll give you $1 for these 4 things. It says free, but I could use them.
She even offered to pay me for the free stuff that we had set up, knowing full well that it was free. She was seriously like the sweetest lady ever. Anyway, around lunchtime on Saturday, we literally had an entire line full of people waiting to check out, which was just so incredibly exciting. And it really did feel like an outside store.
Money for everything. It works for me.
My 5-year-old decided that garage sales are called outside stores. We had some of the nicest people come to visit us.
Sweet lady spent almost $40 here. I had this in her hand. I was like, oh, she's going to buy that bookmark. She get over and she put it with the jewelry. It was organizing our garage. Oh, she didn't know it was a bookmark.
That sweet lady that she's talking about is the same one that paid me for the free stuff. Anyway, around 2 p.m. we decided that we were going to go till 4 and let people fill up trash bags for $5. So I made a sign, and then my 5-year-old also made one. And here's the part that everybody's kind of been waiting for. Here's the aftermath. At the end of day 1, we had made around $400. And on day 2, we made about $370. So altogether, we made almost $780. And then on top of that, my daughter also made $66 at her drink stand, which I was so excited about because we were able to take her to buy the game that she'd been wanting. She'd already been saving up for it for a couple weeks. Something that I need you to keep in mind with the $780 that we made. We sold everything for $1 People stole some things and people haggled. And on top of that, we had the dollar grab bags. My mom and I kind of both estimated that we got rid of over 1,000 things. The glassware, board games, and toys sold really well. At the end of the day, we did end up just putting everything back in the garage, which I know for a fact is going to disappoint some people. Believe me, it kind of disappointed me too. But we are just going to take all of it and drop it off to donations. I was genuinely concerned that my mom was going to have a heat stroke. So once the garage sale was over, we all just kind of sat inside in the cool air. And now that we've had a couple of days to rest, we can get right back to it. Because you guys know that we are not done decluttering my parents' house. And even though we finally had the garage sale and it was a huge success, there is still work to be done, and you can be sure that this is not the end. To all of you guys who have been so supportive, I am so incredibly grateful for all of you. I really think I would have given up a long time ago if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for being the motivation that I needed to start to change my life for the better.